We created our list, we put in that criteria. There were some other criteria in there, but ultimately we nailed down and got to about a list of around 100-ish properties. Creative real estate and direct to seller marketing, and I decided to create a marketing campaign to find a property for us to buy to build a house. Originally, when we set foot on this, we were just looking for a personal property, just somewhere to build a house, to just a piece of land. And me having done real estate deals for a long time, I can't pay retail for properties anymore. I have to get a good deal on things, and I have to do things creatively. And because I look at even my personal house as an investment, as a stepping stone to the next step. So I wanted to structure a deal so that we would be okay going forward. So we set up a marketing campaign. We went online and my wife and I discussed our farm area, let's call it. Our farm area was literally just kind of the area that we lived. We wanted to be in all the same school districts that we were in. We had a son at the time who, here in 2019, he would have been 4 years old at the time, so he's going to be starting kindergarten soon. So we wanted something that was still in that same kindergarten school district, high school district, all that stuff. So we set our criteria out. So I went on ListSource. I have an account on ListSource. That's through CoreLogic, if you don't know who that is. And most of you who are in this industry know who CoreLogic is or know what ListSource is. So we went on ListSource, and I did use their little drawing tool, and I drew out a farm area. I said, we want to kind of be south of this road and east of this road and da-da-da. So we just drew out this little thing on their little map functionality. Once we did that, then I put in the criteria for what I wanted. Well, I knew that we wanted at least 2 acres. At the time, we were living on a 2-acre lot. We like that size. It's not too big, not too small, kind of just right. So at least 2 acres, but I'd be okay with a little bit more than that. So I set in my criteria to give me anything between 2 to 10 acres in my criteria on the lot size. Also, I put in there that they need to have owned it for at least, I think I said 25 years, right? I don't want someone who just bought the lot like within the last year or two or whatever. They needed to have a last market sale date of at least 25 years ago or an unknown market sale date. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but there's what's called the unknown list on ListSource that you can pull that from. I also said, okay, it can either be vacant land or it would be okay if it had like a small old house. We live kind of a little bit out. We live north of Atlanta, about 40 miles north of Atlanta in the Canton, Georgia area. And we live kind of east of Canton. So we're kind of in a more, let's call it rural area, getting close to, call it equestrian country. I guess you could say we are in equestrian country. There's a lot of horse farms around here and that sort of stuff. So kind of little hobby farms and that sort of thing in this area. And so I was okay with maybe buying an old farmhouse, and then we could renovate that house or renovate that little house and maybe carve it off or keep it as a rental property and divide the property and build on the other half. Or, I was going to get creative with it, right? So we created our list. We put in that criteria. There were some other criteria in there, but ultimately we nailed down and got to about a list of around 100-ish properties. And then my wife went through, and I had taught her over the years how to use the county GIS website and how to look at topo maps. If you don't know what topo maps is, topography maps to look at the lay of the land. It's kind of hilly where we're at, so we didn't want like a super steep lot. The house that we were living at the time had kind of a steep lot, so we didn't want that again. We wanted something a little bit flatter. It's very difficult to get something super flat around here. Just doesn't really exist. You can from time to time, but it's probably in a floodplain. So I wanted that criteria. I showed her how to use the topo maps, how to read those. She looked at, I don't want to live on this road, or I don't want to live next to this or whatever. She got on Google Street View and she looked around and kind of narrowed that criteria down. Ultimately, we got that list down to about 35 properties. I want to say, give or take, 35 properties.